900 years ago, on this windswept ridge overlooking the River Aln, Norman engineers began constructing.
The Norman Baron Yves de Vesey chose this site with military precision. In the year 1096, dozens of laborers began the back-breaking work of clearing the dense forest.
Foundation trenches cut 4 feet deep into solid bedrock, designed to support walls that would rise 40 feet into the sky and endure for nearly a millennium.
Local limestone quarries provided the raw material. Quarrymen drove iron wedges along natural fractures in the rock.
Ox carts hauled the rough stone 2 miles from quarry to construction site. Transport costs often exceeded the price of material.
Every stone was inspected and sorted upon arrival. Irregular rubble would fill wall cores, while the finest blocks clinked.
Lime kilns burned continuously for days, heating limestone to 900 degrees until...
Mixing quicklime with water released intense heat and steam. The resulting lime putty was blended with local sand to... Foundation trenches were filled in alternating layers, coarse rubble, then mortar, then more rubble.
Curtain walls rose in 3 distinct sections, outer and inner faces of cut ashlar, sandwiching a core of rubble and mortar.
In the mason's lodge, craftsmen transformed rough quarry blocks into precision ashlar.
Imber scaffolding rose alongside the walls, its beams slotted if a putlog holes deliberately built.
Treadmill cranes lifted stones weighing hundreds of pounds to dizzying heights. A single man walking inside the wheel could raise loads that 10 men couldn't lift directly.
Each stone was set in a bed of fresh mortar, then tapped into alignment using plumb bobs and string lines.
Threads. Medieval masons built walls at a rate of just 8 to 20 inches per day.
The construction halted during wet weather and winter months. Lime mortar required precise conditions to cure.
Alnwick's shell keep broke from Norman tradition. Instead of a square tower, engineers designed a ring of 7 interlocking.
Constructing curved tower walls required wedge-shaped stones called voussoirs, carefully angled so each block supported its
arch construction depended on temporary wooden supports called centering. Once the keystone was set, the arch became self-supporting.
Oak beams a foot thick spanned between tower walls, supporting the keep's multiple floor levels.
Spiral staircases rose within tower walls, each stone step into the masonry.
By the end of the second construction season, the shell keep rose 30 feet.
While the keep rose, construction crews extended the outer curtain walls, eventually spanning nearly a mile in circumference.
The constable's tower, named for the castle's military commander, began with a D-shaped foundation.
Arrow loops pierced the tower walls, narrow slits barely 4 wide on the exterior but splaying to 2 feet inside.
Each tower served multiple purposes. The constable's tower housed storage below.
Corbelling, each stone course projecting slightly beyond the one below, created overhanging fighting platforms.
Battlements crowned every tower and wall section. The solid merlons shielded defenders, while
the postern tower guarded a secret entrance, a narrow passage angled to slow attackers and expose them to fire. The main gatehouse demanded the most sophisticated engineering. Twin towers flanking a killing zone of portcullises. Grooves cut into the passage walls would guide the portcullis, a massive iron and oak grating that could drop in seconds.
The portcullis chamber housed a windlass mechanism that could raise the 1,000-pound iron grating, yet release it to crash down in...
Murder holes pierced the passage ceiling, simple openings through which boiling liquids, heavy stones, or crossbow...
Norman chevron patterns, zigzag carvings that demonstrated both wealth and sophisticated craftsmanship.
The barbican extended the killing zone outward from the gatehouse. Attackers brave enough to enter faced fire from 3 directions.
The drawbridge pivoted on massive iron pins set into the stone abutments.
A deep ditch surrounded the castle walls, adding 15 feet to the effective height any attacker must climb.
Wall walks connected tower to tower, allowing rapid redeployment of defenders to threatened sections.
The abbot's tower, one of the earliest towers in the outer wall, rose 3 stories with arrow loops at each level. The middle gateway divided the castle into separate defensive zones.
Even if attackers breached the outer bailey, the record tower's circular design eliminated vulnerable corners entirely. Its round walls deflected missiles.
Rotherham Tower commanded the night watch.
The tower that would later house the castle's clock began as a signal point. Its bell could summon the garrison in moments.
The Falconer's Tower served the noble pursuit of hawking.
Within the protective curtain walls, the castle's domestic heart took shape. Great hall, kitchens.
The Great Hall's cruck frames, curved oak timbers spanning 40 feet, required coordinated teams to...
Oak shingles covered the Great Hall roof, each split piece overlapping to shed rain and snow. A central smoke filled the story.
Unique to this fortress, stone warriors were carved to stand eternally on the battlements.
One by one, the stone sentinels took their eternal posts. These figures would stand guard for centuries. Within the shell keep, finishing work transformed stone shells into habitable spaces. The Lord's chambers occupied the keep's most protected upper level. Here, even the finest furnishings served defensive. No Norman castle was complete without its chapel. The garrison's spiritual needs were as essential as...
The kitchen hearth measured 10 feet across, large enough to roast whole animals for the castle household.
The stables housed the garrison's war horses, precious military assets, positioned near the gate. The barracks housed 50 soldiers within arm's reach, just like this. The castle blacksmith could repair weapons, shoe horses, and forge new arms during siege.
Medieval engineers solved sanitation through gravity. Stone drains channeled waste and rainwater away from living rooms.
The final stone closed the curtain wall circuit. 5,000 feet of defensive perimeter protecting 10 towers.
Stone capping protected the battlements from weathering, essential preservation in Northumberland's harsh climate.
The portcullis completed the gatehouse defences, 1,000 pounds of iron and oak that could seal the castle in seconds. Once dropped, no force...
Stone sockets built below the battlements would support temporary timber galleries during siege.
A castle's true strength lay in its stores. These cellars held enough provisions to sustain the... The armory held death in organized rows. Spears, swords, crossbows, and hundreds of arrows. With construction complete, the garrison drilled relentlessly. Every soldier memorized their position. In the Great Hall, the castle's builder presided over his household. Soldiers served.
As the sun set on the completed fortress, this castle stood ready.
Seasons turned, generations passed, but the stone endured. The techniques that raised this.
In 1138, the castle faced its first test, a Scottish siege. In 1309, Henry Percy purchased the castle.
The Percys strengthened what the Normans built, adding watchposts called garrettes, reinforcing towers.
Centuries later, restoration required returning to the original methods: mortar, hand-cut stone, traditional masonry.
Today, heritage masons continue the work their predecessors began 9 centuries ago.
The Barbican remains the castle's most elaborate feature, its stone sentinels still watching after...
The shell keep, that innovative ring of interlocking towers, still dominates the castle's heart.
Within the keep, this small courtyard was the castle's final refuge.
Original Norman masonry remains visible throughout. Even the putlog holes from medieval scaffolding still mark the winds.
This castle's authentic medieval construction has made it a favored film location, standing in for Hogwarts.
From the River Aln, the castle presents the same face it showed to approaching armies 900 years ago.
Conservation demands returning to the original methods. Modern stonemasons mix lime mortar and cut stone by hand.
The stone warriors have watched from these battlements for nearly 1,000 years.
Within the Norman shell, later generations created palatial interiors. 14,000 books line the library.
The Bailey still operates within its Norman perimeter.
Unlike most medieval castles, this one breathes. The Percy family still lives within these walls.
9 centuries separate these views, yet the walls stand unchanged. The scaffolding came down,
Built with hand tools and human labor, without machines or modern materials,
original chisel marks remain visible on these stones, the signature of masons who worked here 9 centuries ago.
The defensive logic remains completely readable. Overlapping fields of fire, layered killing zones, multiple fall.
Standing at the wall's base, the individual realizes what collective human effort achieved.
In the golden light of late afternoon, the fortress reveals why Norman builders chose this stone.
As twilight falls, the castle holds the warmth of the day. Lights appear in windows where families have.
Under the same stars that Norman sentries watched, the castle rests. And dawn breaks again, as it has more than 300,000 times since Norman masons laid the...
From the south, the approach reveals what Norman engineers intended, a fortress commanding its landscape.
The Barbican gatehouse stands ready, stone warriors still on watch, chevron arch still warning and welcoming.
Passing through the Barbican, the full achievement reveals itself.
In every detail, the craftsmanship endures, the precision of cut stone, the durability of lime mortar.
From foundation to battlement, from 1096 to today, a fortress built to...
900 years of storms, sieges, and seasons, and still it stands.
Still inhabited, still functional, still standing as proof of what human hands can build when engineering meets...
Subscribe to Industrial Evolution for more videos exploring how the modern world is built.